Frak this podcast, come and listen to us talk about Battlestar Galactica. It's a show that we're talking about. Hello, interwebs, and welcome to the Frak This podcast. I am the canceled host, Jesse Gender, and I'm joined as always by...
It's Vera. I thought I was the one who was canceled.
Yeah, no, I was the one that apparently got tried to cancel you on Discord or whatever. What was it? I'm looking it up right now again.
Oh, no. I sicked my my audience on you because yes. I'm super toxic.
Yeah, well, I mean, we already knew that. We've known that for years. Yes, listeners, to give you some background on what the hell we're talking about. I mean, you should tell the story because you're the one that found it. I can read out what it says here once you tell the story. But...
Yeah, so in a bit of boredom, I'm bumming around on my phone, and yes, I Google Council of Geeks intermittently, mostly just to see if like it's showing up anywhere where I don't want it to.
That's what I do the same. I look up Jesse Gender to be like, yeah, there assholes talking about me.
Yeah. So, if for no other reason than just to like steel myself against possible oncoming nonsense. And I don't know why I felt the need to like slide over to the AI summary on Google. I don't know. I honestly don't know why.
That was your mistake in the first place. Yeah.
That was my mistake, but I did that, and according to AI summary, the Council of Geeks YouTube channel is over. The entire
ended.
It's ended. The entire project is done. No real details as to why, but it is the general consensus that the project is over. And I'll read. Oh, you want to? Yeah. Wow.
I can read this.
Go ahead and read the initial thing, but don't move on to the second thing yet.
Okay. Yeah. Well, the initial thing, it just says, the Council of Geeks podcast, which included the YouTube channel run by Nathaniel Wayne, Vera Wild, has ended. And like, so I know you're
some people were freaking out on Blue Sky where I initially talked about this, like it dead named you. I don't consider it like, I know I don't use it, but it's not a secret and I don't consider it a dead name, so like hold your outrage.
That being said, it is concerning that it does bring that up like that, because it could be a dead name very easily. It could be. So. Like, as far it's not for you, for other trans people, it might.
And like, as far as this thing's concerned, it might as well be, but in my specific case, it is not.
Yes. The podcast concluded, and while the YouTube channel was previously dedicated to content like Doctor Who analysis, it is no longer active. Has stopped. Here's some other highlights. Have stopped producing new material. While the specific reasons for the shutdowns are not detailed in the provided snippets, the consensus is that the project is over.
Consensus from where? Who the fuck knows? But then after reading this, there was a prompt in the AI, like if I wanted more. There was a prompt for Council of Geek controversy. Which I clicked on because I'm like, what the hell does this thing think is going on? You've got it pulled up. Go ahead and read.
Oh yes, here we go. The YouTube channel is the YouTube channel Council of Geeks, created by Vera Wild, formerly Nathaniel Wayne, is at the center of controversy over its host's alleged harassment and toxic behavior. Harassment allegations, targeting of creator Jesse Gender. Hey, that's me. In 2024, a serious public feud developed between Wild and another creator, Jesse Gender, over Wild's podcast, Frak This Podcast. So it's your podcast.
We're not on it together. And we had a split in 2024 before we started that podcast.
Yes, but it's not even mentioning that I'm on this podcast.
No, of course not.
It's your podcast that I was feuding with you over.
Yes.
Gender claimed Gender claimed
I actually kind of adore that it's just treats Gender as your last name. Well, according to Gender.
Yes, just Gender, the concept of Gender, claimed that Wild displayed toxic behavior behind the scenes and weaponized her fan base to target her. Wild has also
my pronouns right.
Yeah. Wild was also accused of ignoring concerns regarding harassment and abuse within her own Discord server.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's new to me.
Collaborators of Wild's podcast and Discord server. Which collaborators? Me? A Discord server have corroborated Gender's accusations, alleging a pattern of abuse and harassment. So, where the hell is this coming from? That's what I was curious. Is it just like you reading our weird dynamic on the podcast?
See, here's what I can't figure out. I figure it's even odds that it is either a case of, because none of this is scripted and I can't afford to pay somebody to put a transcript out. We do not have an official transcript that goes out with the podcast. I know it's an accessibility thing. If I had the money to pay someone to do it, I would. I don't. But it is still possible, like, if they're scraping the audio data and it can't pick up sarcasm, like, you do tell me you hate me on a regular basis. Like, we give each other so much crap that a machine that doesn't detect sarcasm, maybe. Alternately, I suppose it's just such a common thing for YouTube collaborative projects to break down in this specific way. It just wedged us into the template of what usually happens.
Probably a little A, a little B. I do wonder if like some machine learning thing is like reading our transcript and like this is some sadomasochistic podcast or whatever. I hate you. Oh, spicy stuff. Like, what is happening here?
The click and then a little moan.
Yeah, exactly. Well, speaking of sadomasochism.
No, hold on. We can't move on quite yet.
Yeah. I wasn't transitioning to this other stuff. I have other things.
Well, see, like here's part of the real beauty of this AI learning stuff, because like it's not working off of direct inputs. It is like it generates this shit fresh every time, which is one of the reasons, because like a lot of people on Blue Sky were like, "Can you sue them for libel?" I'm like, there's a list of reasons why I probably can't. One of them being that like I will probably have difficulty reproducing this output again, but I have noticed that since I went and checked it again, it's now added false rumor. An AI search summary inaccurately stated the channel was over in October 2025 due to a, quote, toxic feud. Wild dismissed the claim on social media. The channel remains active. So it has now... I love that it created and now debunked its own misinformation through this bullshit. Yeah. But let's also take a half second to think, if I hadn't stumbled across this, there wouldn't be a debunking of the fucking thing, and it might still be there. But then again, it might not, depending on what fucking caused it in the first place. I hate the future.
Yeah, I don't. What is the other video? Yeah, it doesn't even give me the controversial prompt. It's so weird.
Yeah,
give me your Patreon. Give me your Patreon though.
Oh, well, that's nice.
This was voted best YouTuber in 2019.
But yeah, it's probably already been made into a thing by the time listeners hear this. I'm probably gonna make a video about this, just using it as an example of how, because like I've talked a lot about how bad AI is. I have largely talked about visual outputs, video and image and just the scraping of data in general. But like, I haven't dealt specifically with AI functions on search engines. I feel like this will...
It's a good time.
Yeah. I think I might as well deal with that.
Yep. Well, speaking of dealing with that, now you ruined my transition. I had to do 3 this time, and I thought my first one was pretty decent. But we actually have a little bit of a news segment this week that Vera has no idea about. Yeah.
Oh, the weekly news segment, like we always do.
Yeah. Yes. But there were a couple things that were just vaguely Battlestar. One directly, one indirectly. We'll start with the indirect one, but they were vaguely Battlestar Galactica shaped that I had to at least address it. You might have seen me post this one because I posted it on Blue Sky, but
I don't follow you.
Trump news says Trump administration providing weapons grade plutonium to Sam Altman.
Yeah,
and I just like, didn't that like end with Baltar? Didn't Baltar, like, given a tech bro plutonium, end up in terrorists blowing up Cloud9?
Yeah.
And technically, didn't this all start also with giving tech bros access to weapon systems?
Yes.
So that was We're all gonna get irradiated. Honestly, my more real concern is just like the safety of it all and them just
Yeah.
irradiating anybody who's near them.
So,
Yeah.
I guess for the sake of not throwing people into uninformed panic.
Yes, I can read some of this. Just
Yeah, like I don't think it's actually happened yet. It's being discussed, but
so
yeah, just giving Cold War era nuclear weapons, um, but not to be used as weapons, but to be used as a power source because of how fucking hungry the AI shit is.
On Tuesday, the U.S. Department of Energy launched an application for interested parties to apply for access to a maximum of 19 metric tons, a little under 42,000 pounds, of weapons-grade plutonium, which has long been a key resource undergirding the U.S. nuclear arsenal. One of the companies anticipated to receive shipments of the fissile isotope from the Department of Energy is Okloy, a nuclear startup backed up and formerly chaired by OpenAI CEO Sam Altman. So
nuclear startup. What a terrifying pair of words.
Because everything's just being given to tech companies. This is the abundance. I've been doing research for a video on Ezra Klein and his like abundance movement shit, and that's just what it is. It's like just give everything to the tech bros. Reagan era economics, they'll lift us all up. It's the tech oligarch future.
Yes, because I've seen Alien so well for the last 40 fucking years. That's why everything's perfect right now. Oh wait,
we got the Star Trek future, Vera. Didn't you see? Yeah, it's I've seen Alien Earth. Like, look, people have complaints about Alien Earth as a show. It's set up of the nation states are just companies now. It reads like that seems like that's probably gonna happen. Nation states just become corporations. So yep. Or vice versa. Corporations just become the nation state, I guess is the better way to put it. But
yeah.
Wee. So yeah, that was just vaguely Battlestar.
What's your other news piece? Can it be slightly less depressing, please?
Fuck.
I
guess it's less depressing. It's just worth mentioning because it was a bit of a mini controversy in the Battlestar Galactica community this weekend. Katie Sackhoff, who I've talked about before, who I really like, she has a really great podcast. She plays Starbuck on Battlestar Galactica. She has a really good podcast. She's super supportive of queer people. She generally has like a lot of women and LGBTQ folks on her podcast, and I've listened to a lot of their talks, and she's very good. She talks about like trauma and a bunch of all these things. So I'm just trying to make sure I set the expectation here. Like she is, I think she is a good person with good values and everything like that. However,
there it is. However,
she did appear on Joe Rogan this past weekend, which was, again, it's not a big, it's one of those like, it caused a whole controversy in the Battlestar Galactica community, so it's worth discussing because she was there talking about Battlestar Galactica and how it like relates to the present day sort of thing.
There are people who are just detached enough from the ground level of what's happening to think that they can utilize that platform for good.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I guess to be vaguely fair, you roll it back 6 years, maybe there was a kernel of truth in that.
Mm-hmm.
But like, it hasn't been true for a while, but also you need to have been paying attention to know that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not necessarily saying you're obligated to let her off the hook, but if she wasn't there to talk about how brilliant Elon Musk was and about the new brain pills she's hawking, then my suspicion is she was there thinking the platform could still be utilized for something positive when it really can't.
Yes, that was generally my takeaway. I listened to some of the clips from it, and she's just generally talking about Battlestar Galactica in the sense of like, oh, hey, look how we're talking about like the American democracy. Listen, like all the stuff that we've generally been talking about.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not like I see where her brain was at, but obviously I just think, she is a little insulated from a lot of the bigger pressure cookers of what's happening right now. And as a result is somewhat ignorant of the rest. So I think it speaks more to her ignorance rather than anything else, which is a little sad because I've listened to her podcast and her podcast is generally good. She's really good at talking about some of these things, but it isn't very much in a, we're talking about it through the lens of this one person kind of way, not in a, oh, she's really aware of the systemic forces of our world. Not that I expected her to be, but it is just one of those like, oh, that's a little bit disappointing. It's more like just disappointing, generally speaking. So, Just because I thought her podcast was on, like, it was good. I enjoy it, and I'm not going to stop listening to it especially when she has a guest that's on. But it's just one of those like, I thought you were a little bit more self-aware based on what you were saying, but I guess not. Doesn't mean your work isn't good, just a little more insulated than I thought you were.
Yeah,
so, is kind of the vibe. So it was just worth discussing because, like, there's not really been, like, when we were doing the Babylon 5 podcast, there was a little bit of news because there was like talk of the reboot, and also the movie came out while we were doing stuff.
Yep, the reboot that is gone nowhere.
Yeah, sadly. Because I do really think Babylon 5 would be, I think an updated version of that show would be very worthwhile if it's done correctly. There's some things, like, I love that show, it's just worth updating, especially the cop shit.
Yes, I agree, and like potentially, but also, like, look, for every one Mad Max Fury Road we get a million horrible, out of date, what the fuck were they thinking continuations from original creators decades later.
Yes.
That
does
not have a good track record.
That would be my caveat on, if there were to be a reboot, it would, like, I don't even mind if he's involved in it, but it would need to be something that J. Mike Krasinski was not the sole writer of. Again, it's like, you already did your show for 5 years, and yes, you dealt with the pressures of making it at that time, but like, have other people have voices in it. So, but that's neither here nor there. That is seemingly not happening now. But yeah, that ends our news segment, which means we should get back into talking about the resistance. That wasn't even a transition. That was just me stating what we're doing now. We're going to talk about the comments on the webisodes Resistance from a couple weeks back. Let us see. Let's see. Elf J17 says, have there ever been any women fridged 2 days before their retirement? Women that are fridged tend to be on the younger side, and older actresses are usually pushed out of the picture long before their retirement. It's a good point. I'm trying to think if there are any. Like, she was 2 days from retirement, got a fridger.
I mean, like, in the literal sense, probably not, but like, you hunt around, you can find maternal figures being fridged.
Yeah, well, I'm sure. Yeah. Like how they killed my mom.
Like, arguably, that's every Disney princess.
It's true. I guess Luke Skywalker's aunt and uncle, or their fridge.
They are both resoundingly fridge. Except I'm not sure they are by the truest definition.
To motivate him, I guess.
They don't motivate him, though. They don't. Yeah. All their death does is remove his obligation to stay, but he's not motivated by their deaths. He already wanted to leave. He already wanted to fight the Empire.
I'm trying to remember in the movie, does he want to leave, or does he like, I should stay because of the obligation, and then they're dead, so it's like, fuck, gotta get out of here, which is technically kind of like, it's not like emotionally motivating him, but it prevents him from staying.
Like, so he has stuff that he says with Obi-Wan and whatnot, where like the idea of him leaving is brought up, and he has lines like, look, it's not that I like the Empire or I hate it.
Yeah.
There's nothing I can do about it, right? Like, the entire projection of him is wants to leave, and like, there's also cut scenes that are more explicit of him actually wanting to go and be a pilot in the rebellion. Like, and regardless, like, even by fridging standards, they are literally never mentioned again, even as a "this is for my aunt and uncle" thing.
Yeah, we do get to see their burnt corpses, though. That's always fun.
It is one of the more gruesome images from that first movie.
It really is. That one always stuck with me. They're like smoking corpses. Let's see. Amy Rose says Doctor Who also did bite-sized mini prequel episodes for every episode of series 2 in 2006, which I do vaguely remember.
I don't remember those. I remember them doing,
I think they were more like, they might have been, I think they were like cut scenes that they kind of like made into.
Yeah, I don't remember stuff from two. There was like one or two, like, I know there's like Born Again, which basically functions as the scene between.
Oh yeah, they were called TARDISodes, which sounds like that's a terrible name.
Yeah. I don't remember them from that season. I remember later on, like they tried to use them to build up towards some of like the 50th anniversary special. Those weren't very good.
Yeah, there was 13 of them, one for every episode.
Huh. So I wasn't
yeah,
watching it as it aired at that point, so.
Yeah, apparently they were just like I just pulled up a video of all of them, and they total like 11 minutes and 30 seconds in total for all 13 of them, or however many I just said. So yeah, they don't look particularly. Yeah, I do vaguely I'm just like scrubbing through. I do vaguely remember these. These do feel like they were like cut scenes from like a thing for the most part. They're very low made and
I bet you if I pulled it up, I'll probably remember it as like a DVD extra or something.
Yeah. Romler says R.I.P. June Lockhart. At the end of her Babylon 5 appearance, she says, I might have as much as 20 years left. Turns out she had 31. So, yeah.
She made 100, didn't she?
I think she did. She was close. If not, June Lockhart age. She made it to 100.
Good on her.
Yeah. And then last one, Fesco says, hey, I heard about the podcast ending and all the allegations from Google AI, which is 100% correct all of the time. Sad to see this podcast go. Yes, well, we are on the precipice of a terrible new world. And speaking of which, it's time to talk about the Battlestar Galactica episode Precipice, the second episode of season 3. Now that was a decent transition. I'm happy with that. Let us get into our recap. Let us not linger.
You just don't want me to interrupt you.
No, let us not linger. Let us not tarry in the doorway and the threshold between topics. All right. We start off the episode with Roslyn is now in a detention cell. And Baltar comes in and gives her a seat. And he basically says, I'm sorry, everyone of importance is being looked at right now. I can help you in ways that I can't help myself. I can protect you. The situation has changed. And he basically tries to get you're using suicide bombings now. It's abhorrent. It's contrary to everything you believe in. So you and I will put up a statement that will publicly condemn these attacks. They cannot be legitimized. And then Roslyn sort of pushes back saying, oh, there is something that scares the Cylons. There's desperate people take desperate measures as her sort of justification for it. But then Baltar sort of challenges her on it and says, look me in the eye and tell me you agree with these things, like people being strapped with their explosives to their chests. Tell me you approve.
Do you condemn Hamas?
Yes, it's exactly the vibe. And to be fair, Roslyn doesn't condemn or approve either way. So yeah, but that is exactly the vibe, is do you condemn Hamas shit? So Baltar does also say, 33 people were killed, talking about the police that were blown up in the first suicide bombing we saw at the end of last episode. And he goes, the only crime was putting on a police uniform. And I'm like, yeah, that's a good crime. Fuck the police.
At least he acknowledges it's a crime.
Exactly. They were just bringing order to chaos, was this thing. Order. And then Roslyn pushes back on that, saying ordered by arresting people in the dead of night, detaining indefinitely tortured. And I'm just thinking, oh yeah, like ICE agents.
Just fucking wait on that. Jesus.
Oh yeah. Well, there's a section of this episode that is not subtle about what it's referencing at all.
Somehow managed to reference shit 20 years in the future frighteningly accurately. God damn. We'll get there. Yeah.
No, I mean, a lot about this episode in particular, this sadly feels very relatable as right now.
Yeah.
But yes, he bases no one's been tortured. Baltar sort of is just like, no one's been tortured, and she says, tell that to Colonel Ty.
Well, I feel like it's worth noting that when she says, people being snatched up and tortured, him saying no one's been tortured, like
it's self-justification. I feel like he's trying to tell himself that.
Yeah, I feel like that is either the line he has been told to walk, it's the justification he gives himself, or it's the justification he gives the few humans who will still talk to him.
Yes. I think it's a combination of all.
Yeah, this is not a thing that is done. So he gets that kind of defensive that makes it clear that he knows it's going on.
Yes, yes. I don't know. My read on it is like he knows what's going on, but he won't let himself believe it, and he also is trying to like make other people believe it as well. You know, if he doesn't look at it, it's not happening. That liberal ideal of just looking away. So I say, if I don't look at it, it's not happening. It's not there. It's like an Eldritch demon, you know. So. Yes. He also says, "I hope you understand the severity of the situation. I always obey the dictates of my conscience, which is what I've always. You always obey the dictates of your conscience, which is what I've always done." And Ross says, "Oh, I have no doubt about that," which I like that as light. But then he says, "Give this lovely lady her shoes back and get her out of here." So he sets her free, essentially.
Yeah, because there kind of been attention drawn to the fact before that she was barefoot. Director's barely disguised fetish. I don't know.
Yeah, that was weird because it never comes back up again. It was like, all right.
And I don't remember attention being drawn to like Ty not having shoes.
Yeah, the only thing I could think of is that it might be a oblong reference to something specific from like when you're blanking on Guantanamo or something like that they were like making a reference to. That might be the only thing I could think of. But
well, I mean, like it can be a Suicide Watch thing, no shoelaces.
It's true, but I like it might be a thing where like they took their shoes or something there.
I don't know.
It might just been like a very specific news story that they were directly drawing from, but I don't remember. I'm not saying that's true. I'm just that's my only real guess at it. It's just one of those things that they were like, oh, this is like that news story from Guantanamo that y'all heard about in 2004 or wherever the hell, or whenever the hell this came, 2008, whenever the hell it was.
Well, I mean, it's not like the Guantanamo stuff stopped.
No, it's still fucking going on. Whee! There are people still in detention from fucking back then who've lived most of their lives in detention, just on suspicion of being terrorists. Our country's great. Go America. Whee. Anyways.
Yes, please go. Go far away.
Anyways, we then go out into the world and we see that Jammer is still alive and still part of the police. So he managed to survive the suicide bombing. And Cavill, basically, you know, they're setting up for an op, and he says, you know, hey, we'll have your back. Understand, you understand your orders, captains. So yeah, we just get a like thing that like Jammer is working still for the police, is alive, and Cavill's sort of kind of in charge of the insurgency to a degree. In these scenes. We then cut to in a meeting with the insurgency. We learned a couple things like the Cylons are cracking down on people, just generally collective punishment, as it were. They've cut down food rations for everybody. Talk about shutting down the marketplace as a security risk. To which Ty responds, because this is the meeting between the Ty, the chief, and Anders. It's like, okay, we'll shift targets then. To which Chief is like, you were going to hit the market full of civilians? And he's like, this is crazy. We need to figure out whose side we're on. And then Ty just has this like monologue of we're evil men in the garden of paradise sent by the forces of death to send devastation and destruction wherever we go. Surprised you didn't know that. And I just like, okay, drama queen. Like,
yeah. I'm also real annoyed by this because like I ended up liking before that like there was this divide between some of these people with Ty being like, no, we're going to start bombing these places, and the concern was about bombing the graduation thing. You know, all these other people are going to die. And I had said, you know, when we talked about it, in my mind, I pictured a graduation like with a public audience, but there wasn't one there, so there was no civilian risk. And now, like, and I felt like that gave some interesting nuance. Like, is he willing to take out a bunch of people who maybe if they were told doing this will get you killed, they wouldn't have done it? But he's just not going to give them the, you know, we're just going to wipe them all out. And I thought that was so much more interesting than just he's willing to kill civilians. And now here we are an episode later. It's like, oh, he is just willing to kill. Well, never fucking mind then.
Yeah, it is one of those that was like, I don't think there is a conversation there that she tries to bring up, but it just is for Ty to monologue about like, how we're the angels of death or whatever, you know. And like he has a scene later on that I think is much more interesting that he kind of brings the same energy to. Yeah. But like this one is sadly removing some of the nuance.
Yeah. So. I think overall that a lot of what is going on in this episode, there is the framework for some real good conversations, not a lot of which end up happening.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's going to be some scenes later with the Cylons, and boy, would I have liked someone to, whether it was the Cylons or whether it was the humans or whatever, like, okay, of course the Cylon response is going to be to crack down harder, but like, it might make sense to you, like, well, we can't give them what they want because then we show them that terrorism works. Like, okay, yes, but if you crack down even harder, then you give them even less reason to do anything other than this because you've made their lives worse. But again, it's a point not made. It's conversation not had.
Well, we then cut back to Cavill and Jammer. And we basically see that Cavill gives Jammer a list of people to arrest and send to detention. Jammer pushes back a little bit, saying, hey, I know some of these people, but Cavill says, they're insurgents. We have to break the cycle of violence, is his justification for it. Where have I heard that before?
We have to break the cycle of violence by being the only people allowed to commit violence.
Yep, we're the ones that have all the power here. We could choose us to stop the cycle of violence, but we'll just perpetuate it. We could just leave, But nope, we will do more. And Jammer and all of the other cops put on their masks, and Cavill says, you won't have to wear those much longer. Eventually, people will see you as heroes. Which Jammer replies to himself, so Cavill doesn't hear, not tonight.
Oh, fuck, man. and then we get a lovely masked raid of people. God damn.
Yeah. The footage, I mean, to be fair, I mean, obviously it reflects today, like what we're seeing with shit like ICE and things like that. But the footage very clearly was meant to, like, if you had pulled it out and just said it was taken in Iraq or Afghanistan at the time, it also very much reflects that. American forces going in and barging into people's houses, which I think was the intentional thing to reflect, because they even use night vision goggles and all that jazz.
Yeah, because it is always worth remembering that just because we're seeing this shit actually happen within our own borders doesn't mean America hasn't been doing it for a very long time.
Fascism is colonialism turned inwards. Doesn't mean that we didn't do colonialism for a very long time. So, yay!
This is why the podcast was canceled. We got too depressed with the politics.
Yes. Well, one of the people arrested was Callie. And Chief comes back to find his baby is left all alone. We then cut to Hilo and I was gonna say Hilo, but it's basically everyone on the Galactica and Pegasus sort of command crew talking about their plan. They're trying to coming up with ideas. The Cylons, have been doing crackdowns. The Cylons have removed the launch keys for the ships on the ground. And they basically come to the conclusion that more than likely they won't be able to manufacture new launch keys, but the Cylons have them. They'll have wanted to keep them, so they will need to figure out a way to get them because the Cylons will be keeping them safe somewhere.
Yep.
And then another thing they discuss is to drop weapons to the insurgency, to give them to the insurgents. But Lee sort of counters as like, if you do that, the one benefit we have right now is they've reduced the perimeter to just 5 base ships. If you give them weapons, they'll know we're in contact with them and they'll send in like 10 more base ships. So you can't really do that. So that sort of like escalation of violence sort of thing.
Yep.
So, yep. We then, and I mean, it's worth saying like that mirrors like the United States giving like insurgency groups weapons to destabilize governments and such like that, which also came back to bite America in the ass in many other ways.
Every time, every single fucking time, it never went well, and we kept doing it.
Yep, maybe we should just stop doing colonialism. But no, we need.
And to be clear, that is not the same thing as helping a sovereign nation throw off an invader. Helping Ukraine is not the same as arming insurgents to topple a government. So, you whataboutis can piss off. I'm not sure if we actually have any in our audience, but just in case,
I'm sure there's some. Maybe not in our audience, but 10 years down the line when someone's trying to cancel us and make more
Again.
AI shit about us. Anyways, we then have Gata and the chief talking.
So Gata's just not even trying to be stealth anymore.
No. What is clear from this conversation, I actually will point out, is that Chief does not know that Gata is the informant here.
It's just really weird to me that Gata, knowing what the crackdowns are and everything, that he would even risk being seen with the chief.
Yes, there is that. But yes, they are like basically Chief is sort of talking to him as like, you know, they picked up Callie and Felix is like, I'll try and figure out, you know, what I can do. And you know, Chief's like, she hasn't done anything. We've got a baby, and then he kind of goes at Gata, being like, how do you do it? How do you help day after day? How do you look in the mirror? And Felix like, I'll see what I can do. I'll see what I can find out. And Chief gets angry and wants to try and do something. So yeah, Chief is very pissed off at Gata and seemingly does not know that Gata is the informant. So
yeah, it just strikes me as a very stupid idea to meet out in public in broad daylight with the same person you're slipping secret info to, even if that person doesn't know.
Yes. Yeah, it is a bit weird. It is a bit weird. So we then cut to Jammer, sort of walking around, you know, not in his, you know, cop uniform or anything, just as in a civilian wear. And he finds a little doll toy from the raid the last night that he was involved in. And then the chief comes up and, you know, Jammer sort of offers like, hey, I heard about Callie and everything. And Chief sort of like also does not know that Jammer is part of the police and starts going off as like a bunch of traitors. Jammer tries to play defense of the people who signed up for the police, and it totally, I'm definitely not one of them, but you know, those guys who joined up, they thought they were doing something good. You know, definitely wasn't me though. I don't know. I don't know why you would think that. And yeah, Chief is like, fracking idiots. What do they expect? You don't know any of those guys, do you? Jammer's like, no, definitely not. Not a single one.
No.
But yeah, he's like, he also, Chief says Gata's a fracking collaborator. When this is all over, people like Gata are going to get strung up, and guys like you and me are going to be tying the knot. So
now, as crass as that line is, I do like Jammer hearing the chief say that. And it's the first scene we see him in after we heard Cavill reassuring him, like, oh, they'll see you as a hero later. And then the next time we see Jammer, he's hearing the chief say, like, oh, we're going to tighten the knot. He's like, oh, well, shit. You got what you wanted, Tiger. How does it taste?
Yeah, when's that hero bit coming, you know? We then cut to, I'm sure, your favorite storyline of the episode. Vera's face. Yeah. She's drinking more wine, everybody. Leoben and Starbuck. So Leoben is talking to Starbuck and he's like, you know, we've had some ugly days out there, you know, but life means a lot to us. So we decided to show you just how precious life can be. Even in the worst of times, it can restore your faith. Remember that breeding farm on Caprica? He's like, I remember I blew the Frak out. It's like, well, we were able to salvage some things like your ovary. And Starbuck's like, the fuck? And Leoben comes in with a kid named Casey. And he says that Kara, she is her mother. And the kid Casey's about like what, like 3, something like 4, something like that.
Honestly, not 4, 2 or 3.
2 or 3, yeah. Which would make some level of sense because it's been about like technically a year, probably about 2 years since that episode of the farm.
I mean, they might be trying to pass the kid off as sub 2, but the kid isn't that.
Yeah. They might be. I think it's been because it was a year time jump we had, but then it's been about 4 months since then. And then it was about like 6-7 months since, like, you know, she was on Caprica before that point. So it was, I would say about 2 years. So something like that.
Yeah. We also don't know how long it takes to incubate the thing without her being there, but you know, whatever. So yeah, shock of shocks. I fucking hate this.
I thought you were gonna love it. I thought this was going to be your favorite storyline. I'm so shocked.
Now, like, let's be clear about a few things here. There are some more. None of these criticisms are truly objective, but there are some things I'm going to point out later that I feel like are less personal criticisms than a lot of what just rubs me the wrong way about this. I want to say as a parent, but the honest truth is I hated stuff like this even before I was a parent. There is something about the casual utilization and endangerment of children and using children as pawns in stories that never sits right with me. And I don't want to get on a moral high horse about it. I'm not saying you can't use kids as plot devices or whatever else. I'm not even going to say there haven't been at least a few times where it's worked for me. But at the same time, it has never sat well with me. I hate seeing small children in distress, which is not immediately relevant for what's going on right now. But I feel like the introduction of this at all means that is inevitable. And the thing that is going to be the bigger issue for me, we don't have evidence of it yet, but by the end of the episode, fuck you and your maternal instinct bullshit storyline.
Yeah. Yes, that was going to be my thing.
Yeah, like that nail is not going to get hammered until the tail end. And again, look, as a parent who simultaneously gets really weirded out about kids being endangered in media, but simultaneously doesn't really like kids other than my own. I don't. I'm awkward as hell around kids. I don't want to hold your baby. I don't. Please don't. But at the same time, I can acknowledge that, having in front of you and holding a child that you believe to be yours for the first time does change, rewires your brain. I accept that as a reality. However, the deployment of that narratively is almost always directed at women for their maternal instinct to kick in. And fuck that as a plot device.
Well, women just have a natural maternal instinct, every single one. They're just there's just in them. And usually this is also can be wielded in transphobic ways down the line. This isn't what this show is doing, but it's oh yeah, you're really a man, which is why you don't have a maternal instinct. That sort of weird bullshit nonsense, the biological essentialism nonsense.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I don't love it. That was gonna be my thing. Personally for me, I know it's a sensitive thing for other people. I am less sensitive to kids getting endangered or animals getting endangered in media. Erin, my partner, she does not like animals getting harmed in anything. She will actively despise a piece of work that lets an animal get harmed. So,
she's one of those people who has to Google, does the dog die before watching a movie?
I have to actively tell her. There was something, what was it? There was something that we were watching where it was like a monster. Oh, it was a terrible fucking movie. Because we were watching Alien Earth and she had never seen the Alien films besides Romulus. She had seen that one. So she was watching all the Alien movies. And I was watching them with her. And we got to Alien 4, the Joss Whedon one.
Yeah.
It was worse than I fucking remember. I remember as a kid being like, oh, this was dumb, whatever, fun popcorn movie. It's fucking terrible. But the thing with that movie, sorry for this aside, but it was wow, this is weirdly fucking cruel. Is spoiler for Alien 4 if you give a shit, but the movie ends with the alien queen giving birth to a human alien hybrid based on Sigourney Weaver's DNA nonsense. Again, weird maternal instinct bullshit going on there too. But the final monster is that baby. But the way the kid acts, just is going after Sigourney, it hops on her ship after she's about to blow everything up and is just looking for her. And yes, kills a guy. But when Sigourney tells it to stop about to killing another person, it stops and then just goes over and wants to be with his mom. Then she kills it by sucking on its breath. Yes, it acts like a child. And yet she kills it in a cruel way, to the point where, in the final scene where its brain is getting, vacuumed out the back of its head into space, it's, crying, in a horrible way. And, Aaron and I were both she was like deeply kind of upset by it. She's like, it's just a baby. Like she was legitimately viscerally upset and like, it's just a baby. Like what the fuck? It's like weirdly cruel. So even to that level of shit is like difficult for her to deal with. It doesn't affect me as much. Like shit like that will bother me for like the weird cruelty of the writers, but like as a visceral reaction, it's not something that gets me as much. So but yes, the maternal instinct bullshit does bother me. So.
Yeah.
And
like here's the kick, and here's the extra kicker on this. We'll see where this plot line goes, but like the maternal instinct thing is very clearly what Leoben's banking on. So it's like, great, let's make the metaphor for an abusive partner who won't let you go right. Great, let's fucking do that while we're here.
Whee! Love it. Gotta love it. I mean, I think like what they're trying to do is talk about like Stockholm syndrome and how like people can come to like care for their oppressors, but it's still in such a weird, fucked up, manipulative, maternal instinct kind of way. That
also Stockholm syndrome isn't even fucking real.
Oh yeah, I'm aware of that, but I think like the point is like being like people will like come to like have feelings for their oppressors sort of thing. That again, it's not a thing that doesn't happen. But this is not the way to write that in this weird maternal instinct bullshit way. So yeah.
Like, look, here's the thing. And I suppose you could potentially argue that there's a possibility of it being this way, but it's not being presented this way. Everything about Leoben and his presence around Starbuck, even though she's been the one killing him, has all been presented with a very palpable sense of menace from him. And while that can make for some tense scenes, I think what would actually be interesting would be if he was legitimately pleasant. Not like creepy, feels like he could snap at any moment pleasant, which is what they've got him doing. But I think it actually could have been interesting if he just banked on the fact of, she'll kill me and I'll come back and I'll just keep being nice. And like, I think not that I'm saying this doesn't potentially have, its own minefield to navigate, but potentially the idea of like, I'll keep coming back and I won't fight and she'll kill me however many times it takes for her to actually talk to me and stop just killing me. I think that could have been a really interesting way to develop that relationship. But again, even though we haven't seen him do a ton to her, everything about the way it's shot and he delivers lines and how he's presented is with menace. And
there's always this weird like it's never acted upon. Thank God. It would be worse. But there's this weird implication of like, I could do some violence to you.
Yeah,
like the end of last, I think the most
talks to her.
Yeah, like the end of last episode, I think was the most overt of like, I'm going to bed. You can join me if you want. Like, there's this like implied sexual menace to it that is weird. Like, again, the show never acts on it. Like, I don't think it ever does at any point.
Which is good, but I think it would have been way more interesting to just run away from that as far as possible.
Yes, I agree with you. Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yes, like, and to think it could possibly like. Because right now, there are basically only two quote-unquote good Cylons, and that's Caprica and Boomer. And that's kind of it. I mean, Boomer and Toomer, like versions of Sharon and a specific version of Six. And I think it could have also really created some doubt within the audience as, is there some nobility to what they're doing? Because this guy's legitimately nice. But no, we're not doing that. Hey folks, it's Vera from The Edit. I just wanted to jump in because my thoughts have clarified a little bit since we had this conversation. I worry about how people are going to interpret what it was I said, because even listening back to it myself, I'm worried that people are going to think what I wanted was a case of, someone who is still clearly abusive just by virtue of the fact that he doesn't let Starbuck leave, but because he's nice, that suddenly makes it more nuanced or whatever. That wasn't really what I was trying to get at, though. It was, unfortunately, kind of what I said. What I would have found a lot more interesting would have been if we removed some of the overt menace from him and still emphasized
how wrong this was. And also just the general idea that if he was more pleasant and nicer to her, it would reinforce at least the position that the Cylons think they're doing something good on the part of humanity. Obviously, like, they're not. This is all really messed up, and I would still want that to be the point. I just think it would have made for a more interesting depiction to not have him be as overtly villainous, so that it could be clear that the villainy has nothing to do with his personality and nothing to do with his manner, but to do with his actions. No matter how nice he is, if he's keeping her prisoner, he is still an abuser. That is an angle I would have found a lot more interesting than what the show, at least as far as we've gotten so far, appears to have opted to do instead. Okay. I just needed to clarify that to be sure. I get worried sometimes. Anyway, back to it.
Yeah. We then cut to Dee and Lee hearing on the Pegasus that Adama is sending a liaison officer to coordinate the rescue op on New Caprica. But both of them get upset when they learn who he's sending, and Lee sort of goes over and says he wants to have a private meeting with Adama.
Who could it possibly be? Who is on either ship that would upset by being sent? I wonder.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna do this now because the subtitles spoiled this. Because I'm tired of saying fucking tumor. Because of what happens in this episode. I'm just gonna say it because the subtitles say captioned what her name is.
Okay.
So I'm just fucking saying no. I guess I won't. If you didn't see it. I'm like debating because I thought you would have seen, and since you didn't.
No, because the way that I'm watching these, I don't actually have access to the subtitles.
You should. The files that I assume you are watching from wherever you may get them should have subtitles.
It's not coming up in the option. Like, you need to realize that the files that you send me, like, they behave weird. I have to fully download them. I cannot watch them from the drive.
Oh yeah. Do you have VLC player on your computer?
Nope.
Get VLC player. That's the one that you should use. That's also a program that plays most video files and plays them without any like weird disruptions, and also will access the subtitle file.
And it's free. It's not disruption. Can I tell you what happens when I try and watch it on the drive?
Go for it.
It plays the director's commentary.
That's really funny.
And there's I have like no control over that. I can't choose an audio track. If I watch it on the drive, it just plays it.
That's really funny.
I download it and it doesn't.
Yeah, that's funny. That's because there are subtitle and audio tracks that you can access, but whatever program you're using doesn't let you see it. So yeah, get VLC player and you'll be able to have subtitles. But yeah, okay. If you didn't get it spoiled, I guess we'll fucking wait. But the subtitles did give Toomer her name. Like, it would say who and she's speaking. It would have her name subtitled on it because she's getting it fucking soon.
Shame. I don't know what it is. Oh no.
Guess it'll still fun, and it's gonna be worse because we get both Boomer and Toomer in this episode. So great. And it's only gonna get worse. Anyways, but yes, Lee goes over and confronts Adama. It is obviously Toomer who they are sending, which has Lee upset. He's saying it's a risky gamble, but then it kind of gets into a broader argument about why they're even doing this. Because Lee's basic argument is like, you're risking the lives of the entire human race to do this. The human race is the 2,000 lives of the people that we have right now, the people who escaped New Caprica on their ships that they have. They're the safe bet. One of the pieces that I also put out here that is somewhat interesting that Adama sort of mentions is that, did you know that we can send Toomer because the Centurions can't tell the difference between the Cylon models? They didn't want to risk them becoming self-aware and suddenly resisting orders. They didn't want their own robotic rebellion. I can appreciate the irony. So that's just a piece of little Cylon lore that certainly will never at all become a thing or a big deal.
I'm sure.
I'm sure it won't. Lee continues his arguments like, our first responsibility is survival of the human race. We can't lose sight of that. Over the last year, we've lost sight of almost everything. We got soft because we got to reemphasize that particular word that is associated with his fatness. But if we go back to New Caprica now and we lose, it's over. Humanity just stops, and an Admiral Stars doesn't give you the right to make that gamble. And Adama's response to that is, you're right. Maybe you should make plans to resume the search for Earth with the Pegasus crew. I know I left those people behind. It was their choice to be down there. And I realized that the survival of the human race outweighs everything else. But this time I can't live with it. I can't babysit. Maybe I'm a coward, but I'm going back. So, yep. It seems like the Pegasus crew and Galactica are going their separate ways. So,
okie dokie.
Mm-hmm. We then have another quick scene between Leoben, Kara, and Casey. Leoben sort of talks about like, oh yeah, her mother died in childbirth, but she's pretty funny, has a great smile.
Well, I mean, mother, the surrogate.
The surrogate mother, yes. Yeah. And he's like, I've seen her path. It's difficult but rewarding. She'll see patterns other people see. You get that spiritual clarity from me. So the implication, not the implication, he's stating like he's the father, she's the mother genetically. And he leaves her with Casey, saying you wouldn't let your child starve, and also says she's half human. And Starbuck's like, take this with you. Don't leave me alone with this. And when Leoben finally leaves her, she looks at Casey and says, I don't know who you are, who or what you are, but I'm not your mother. So,
yep.
Mm-hmm. We then cut to one of the more interesting scenes here where Rosalind is talking with Ty. And this is where she explicitly states her objection to the suicide bombings. She said, I don't care that it's effective. It's wrong. And she says, like, I'm sorry. That's no excuse for doing it. And Ty basically makes the arguments like little things like that don't matter anymore. Not much matters anymore. I got one job to make the silence worried and distracted when the old man shows up. The bombings have their attention. I'm not giving that up. And he basically says, sometimes I think you've got ice water in those veins, and other times I think you're a naive school teacher. I've sent men into suicide missions in 2 wars now. It doesn't make a god's damn difference if they're riding in a Viper or walking out onto a parade ground. In the end, they're just as dead. So take your piety and your moralizing and high-minded principles, stick them someplace safe, and save them until you're back in your nice cushy chair in Colonial 1 again. I've got a war to fight.
And this was the much better position for him to take. Unfortunately, again, somewhat undermined by his
willingness.
I wanted to bomb the market and don't care about civilian casualty like that. Oh God, I want to remove that freaking thing with a scalpel. But this is the much better and more interesting position for him to take, basically saying like, look, I know it's easy for you to think that it's different if I were to send a soldier on a suicide mission than it is for someone to blow themselves up, but it's not. It's not different. It is functionally exactly the same. I know I'm sending them to die, and they know it too. This is what happens. And especially at the time that it came out, equating, organized warfare and soldiers with suicide bombers was that was a ballsy thing to do. And I don't disagree with him. But that was not a point that was a comfortable one to try and make at the time.
Yeah, and here's where I'll make a slightly devil's advocate. See, I agree. Like, I want to be clear. I agree with you completely, but I'm making a devil's advocate moment just for the argument of where the context of the episode, because yes, the point where he is making it be like, I don't blow we blow people up in the marketplace, I will kill civilians, does make it a less nuanced argument on that front. However, it does make it more morally awful on Ty's part, right? It's like Ty becomes a much more morally, not even morally gray, like morally in the black, like in terms of what we set up in the previous episode. So then make him even more morally black. Sorry to use that, morally darker. I don't, what the term I'm trying to say is. Anyways, to do that and then to have this scene still saying, hey, he's right, at a time where we're seeing people like, we're making this equating this to a time when like we are seeing a lot of Islamophobia, and like looking at what's happening in Iraq and Afghanistan. There is something to be said about making this even like making it being like, no, he's doing some pretty reprehensible things, and yet we can say that he is still kind of doing the right thing in this argument, which I think there is something there in the sense of like them trying to really be like, hey, if you can empathize with what he's saying here, you need to really look at what's going on over there, which I do appreciate that. Not saying it doesn't make within the context of the show a less interesting discussion, but in terms of the political point that the show is trying to make, I think that is kind of a more interesting, like I don't even necessarily say a stronger one, but one that is forcing the audience to, I think, wrestle a little bit even more with their thinking on it in terms of what it was directly equating itself to.
Potentially.
So Just to devil's advocate that argument a little bit.
Because you can't stop yourself.
I can't, but it makes it interesting. It's why I'm here, right?
That's why we're canceling the no.
Yeah, everyone's I'm canceling you. You heard it here, folks.
No, you heard it on Google.
Yeah. Oh, I do want to blow up the marketplace of ideas. So there we go. That's funny. Anyways, we then cut to the detention center where we see more people being brought into the detention center. Weird little thing to note here that just I get why it was done, but it bothered me. Jammer does not have his mask on here. Everyone they're arresting has masks on. Which I'm like, I feel like it should be the other way around. Jammer should still be wearing his mask, but it's done so that we can have Jammer out of his mask talking to people in the scene. But it was just one of those weird, like, should have been reversed. It's just weird that Jammer will be out in his Caprica police uniform out in daylight, even presuming this detention center is far away and no one can see them. Like, we see that it's not. We've seen this like in the center of town. So it's just like, it's weird. It's a weird choice. Again, it's done so the actor can have his face out, but just set it inside the building. I don't know. Anyways, Boomer and Six are talking, and they're talking about like how these detentions are just causing more resentment. And Six sort of argues like, yes, I agree, but we have to send the message that suicide bombings won't be tolerated. So like you can see there's a little bit of a conflict between our two good Cylons here. They're like, yeah, this is not great, but we have to send some form of message. But then Jammer asked to pull Boomer aside, and he basically, he seems a little reticent, kind of puts all these qualifiers on it, but Boomer says, just spit it out, and says, we picked up Chief Tyrrell's wife, Callie. She's on the list, which is interesting because Boomer obviously has a history, both with the Chief and with Callie, who shot her.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. We then cut to Starbuck and Casey again. We get a quick little scene here where Starbuck just does not want to deal with the fucking kid, so she like walks into another room, and just sort of stays by herself. But while she's not watching, she hears the kid hurts herself, fell down the stairs, really on the hard, like concrete fucking stairs. And the kid's bleeding from the head. So,
and like before all that, of course, we had to have a whole montage of like the kid just being a kid. And like they clearly just let this kid be a kid on set for, an hour and just cut the footage together. So it can tug at the heartstrings a little bit more, or piss you off if you're me.
Yeah. I just like, God, what a bad child safety house. It's fucking concrete fucking steps, this brutalist architecture looking thing. Just kid run around it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Not to say, I'm sure the crew is safe with the kid. It's just like, God, this set looks like a nightmare for children. Anyways. We then cut to Boomer going in to see Callie in the detention center. Callie does not wish to. She's like, I wish I had a gun. As soon as she sees Boomer, and Boomer's trying, it's like, are you all right? And Callie's like, what do you want from me? And she basically says like, I know lots has happened in everyone's life, but I want you to know I'm happy for you, especially since you started a family. It's something that we talked about, me and the Chief. Which Callie's
is a fucked up thing for her to say. Like, what is she trying to accomplish with that? Yeah,
I was like, there's a degree of like, I think she's just trying to relate and trying to like, this is not the moment, Boomer. This is like, not the moment.
I get that, but like, it's a weird thing to talk to the current partner of your ex and be like, yeah, we were gonna have babies too, even if it wasn't a situation where the person you're talking to is being incarcerated.
Yeah, it's like, yeah. Remember I was dating your husband? We talked about having babies, like you have now. Yeah, it is weird. That is weird.
That's a fucked up thing to do, regardless of the specific context, which makes it even more fucked up.
Yes. I do think it speaks to like just Boomer just not having any sense of context really at all. But anyways, Callie basically goes, can you get me out of here? And Boomer's like, I don't know. And then Kelly says, then Frak you. How many times do I have to shoot you anyways? Leave us alone. So, yep.
How many times do I have to shoot you? At least once more.
Mm-hmm. We then see humans getting brought into the detention center, but one of them is another suicide bomber and blows herself up in there. which then cuts us into a Cylon meeting where we hear them sort of recounting the wounded, with 23 Cylons wounded, 14 had to be euthanized. Boomer, I think it's Boomer, brings up there were 4 humans dead as well, and Cavill's like, who gives a frack about that part?
I really like this shot. There's this slow panning shot around everybody at the table, and you get duplicates. Like, you get multiple Cavils, you get 2 Boomers actually sitting right next to each other, and it's really seamless. I'm not entirely sure how they pulled this one off, because the camera the camera does have that slight bob that you get from the handheld work. So I legit don't know how they did this with the tech at the time, but it's real good.
I'm not 100% sure. My guess would be is the wobble is added in post. So it was probably on.
Sense.
It was probably on a. This is my assumption. It probably was on a dolly. They shot it both times with the actors in the different positions, and then they just added the wobble in post production to make it fit the aesthetic. That would be my guess is how they did it.
That would do it. It's real good.
No, it's really good. I like it. Look at me being a filmmaker. I could do this shit. They might have done it some other way, but that would be how I would do it if I had to do that shot. Anyways, Cavill basically argues like we need increased control or we lose control. And basically everyone kind of agrees with this, except for Caprica 6. Which again need to make clear because we're gonna get head 6 in just a second. But yes, Caprica 6 makes the argument, and so everyone agrees, so they vote on it and they decide, yes, we're going to execute some detainees. But then Deanna goes up to Baltar and she says, we require your signature on this. Read it later, sign it now, is what she says. And Baltar's like,
what it is the death warrant.
Yes, for all these people. And he's like, don't put me in this just because you decided to do this. And they also make mention, like Six makes that argument. And Deanna sort of pushes back. It's like, oh yeah, you were basically the first person to do silent and silent violence. And Baltar's like, wait, what? And he learns about that, and she says, I'm not proud of it.
Well, I mean, the way Deanna says is like, oh, she bashed my head in. I'm surprised she didn't tell you.
But yes, the argument that Deanna makes for why they need his signature is, we're here as your friends. Everything we do needs your approval. But then Cavill basically says they're worried what their god might do if they commit murder. They're covering their existential asses, essentially, which is interesting. I find that kind of interesting of like, oh, God cares about the procedural elements of murder. It's like, oh, you weren't the one to sign it, therefore it's not on your soul, which kind of reads in that weird like Catholic like denoting, the very Catholic like you have your sins that you count up before you can get out of the purgatory bullshit.
Well, there's that, or like, even if you're gonna go to like Old Testament stuff, thou shalt not kill unless someone has committed these crimes, in which case you are to stone them to death. There are very specific allowances. So I think it makes a certain amount of sense. That having been said, they are also clearly, especially with what's about to happen, going with the letter of the law and not the spirit, because Doral's about to pull a gun and threaten to shoot Baltar in the head if he doesn't sign the thing.
Yes. Yeah. Baltar says, I won't do it. You'll have to solve your consciousness another way. Doral pulls out a gun, and like Six sort of speaks up against it, and he shoots Six in the head. And he's Caprica, I should say. And Cavill says she'll be back, but if he pulls that trigger now, you won't. And Baltar, we kind of go into his head palace for a second, like a Colonial. It's still Colonial 1, but like a nicer, cleaned up Colonial 1 from back when it was in space. And Head 6 basically makes the argument, it's you. She's like, you have to sign it. They'll kill you if you don't. And Baltar is really struggling with this. Like, and I credit to James Callis. He does a really great job in this scene. He's like, I won't. You can't force me. And Head 6 says, sometimes you have to do things you hate so you can survive to do things another day.
Oh, no. There's a very specific wording that she uses that mattered to me. Sometimes you have to do things you hate in order to fight another day. The use of the word fight matters to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because he doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
And because head 6 is just in his head, it is just him arguing with, reassuring, etc. himself. That's what he tells himself.
Mm-hmm.
That is what he says to himself to convince him to do the things that will keep him from getting killed. Oh, live to fight another day. He doesn't fight. He has never fought. He has rolled over like a fucking beaten puppy. So it's really important to me that that was the argument in his head when it's not true at all.
Yeah.
And like, I'm saying this complimentary. Like, it's great that that's what she says when that's never what he's done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very much so. And I do like also how it's filmed because like we never see him signing it. It's like she sort of like is struggling with it, and then it just cuts to it's already been signed, which I like the way that was.
They kind of do this moment where like he glances down and suddenly he's looking at it and he's already signed it, potentially implying that he didn't even realize he'd done it.
Yes, which again is a justification too, right? It's trying to save his own mental space of like, well, I blanked out while doing it, like I didn't actually do it. It's a way of like saving his own sense of self to a degree.
It becomes less a thing I did and more a thing that happened.
Yes. Yep. Again, I really like this scene. I think it's probably the best done in the episode, and James Callis nails it performance wise. So
it's a good scene.
Mm-hmm. Well filmed, well shot. Anyways, we then cut to Adama swearing Toomer in. He swears her in as an officer in the colonial fleet. Hilo then says, I never says to her privately, I never thought I'd live to see the day it belongs on you. It means a lot to me. And she says, it means a lot to me too. I won't betray it. So Toomer, part of the colonial fleet now. We then cut to Adama talking to Toomer very briefly. And she says, how did you know you could trust me? And Adama says, I don't. That's what trust is.
Which is a good line. I like that one.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it was a very good line. So now they're besties. They're all besties now.
Well, for now, we'll see what she does to fuck that up.
Maybe when she chooses a goddamn name.
Not yet, sucker.
It's in the subtitles. God damn.
I didn't read them.
Anyways, we then get to what I'm sure is your second favorite scene of the episode, which is Cavill and Ellen Ty.
Fuck off with legitimately, why are we doing this?
I mean, I know why. We'll get there. Spoiler minute for me.
There is a reason?
Yes.
Okay.
It's not a good reason. But
okay.
There is a reason. There is a reason.
Well, honestly, at this point, I'll just be slightly less annoyed just finding out that a reason exists at all, because right now, 2 episodes in of this shit, I fucking hate it, and it seems pointless. So a point would be nice, even if it's
it's going
one.
somewhere. I think you'll hate where it's going.
Oh, God damn it.
You say that now, but the monkey paw is gonna curl, my friend.
Look, the shit being done with the women in the show this season.
Yeah.
Not loving it. I'm not. I don't like what's being done with Starbuck. I don't like what's being done with Ellen. I feel like Dee has become an extension of Lee and less of her own character anymore. Like
Callie as well. Boomer and Toomer come out okay.
Boomer and Toomer are doing okay so far, but yeah, Callie is now an extension of the chief because everybody had to get fucking paired off and married.
Anyways, we have Cavill and Ellen. They're still having sex. And they talk about like, the swirl or whatever, some weird sex talk, whatever.
You didn't do the twist. What was this one? It was the swirl. Oh God, fuck off, man.
Men writing sex, fun times. But basically, the scene is basically pressures Ellen into trying to get information about a high-level meeting with the insurgency. So they know that Ty is the leader of an insurgency. That's why they let him go. And basically she says, if you don't give us the details, we'll come and pick up Saul again and he'll lose more than an eye. So yeah. So she's kind of stuck doing something, or else Saul is going to get killed. We then
there's even this whole thing, because you kind of glossed over it, where Cavill says, we know he's leading the insurgency. Why do you think we let him go?
Yeah.
Kind of implying it's how we're trying to keep tabs on this. But she has this whole thing of like, I thought you let him go because of the twist.
Mm-hmm.
So like him pointing that out in a way is also a real dick move towards her in general. Basically,
saying you did it for nothing. You've been just fucking me.
Basically invalidating the sacrifice she thought she was making of herself.
Mm-hmm.
Basically saying, "Oh yeah, no, you didn't need to fucking do that."
Yeah, you didn't do that. Yeah, we would have done it anyways. So yeah.
Which,
Whee!
God damn it, man.
Yeah. Well, we have the chief. One of the most blatant things. We cut from the scene where Cavill's like, we want you to give us information on a very high level important meeting. Cut to the insurgency talking very overtly as Ellen walks in. Look, this is going to be the most important meeting we're ever going to have. I think that's literally a line that Ty says.
Yes, it is.
It was the most on the nose line. For anyone who needs to know, who might be in earshot, this is a really important meeting we're about to have. Obviously, Ellen overhears all of this because they're picking a place to meet with the liaison officer. They learn that it's tumor, which Ty is like, is the old man's losing his mind. But then when Ty goes to burn the information about where they're going to meet, Ellen offers to do it, but she doesn't burn it. She sort of sneaks and hides away the info.
Of course, which includes a map.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
We then cut to Gaius, Gaeta. Sorry, I have Gaius and Baltar. I meant Gaeta and Baltar. Gaeta goes to see Baltar, and Gaeta is basically like, Baltar's kind of, I want to say in like a kind of like numb state, kind of sitting there, kind of staring off in the middle distance. And Gaeta comes in and says like, did you sign this? Tell me you didn't sign this. It's a death warrant. Did you see the names on this list? And like Baltar then, when he hears that, he's like, I did see them. I read them all. I didn't have a choice. I've seen them all, right? There was nothing I could do. Again, self-justifying it to himself.
Yeah.
Yep. We then see Rosalind is one of the people getting arrested. So that's quick little happens.
Naturally.
Yep. We then cut to Boomer arguing with Deanna, basically saying, trying to argue for specifically Callie's life, and she makes the point of like, look, she's the wife of the head of the labor union, this isn't going to endear him to us, which I think that's like, I don't think the emotional argument's going to work. You don't want to piss off the head of the labor union is a decent enough argument. It does not seem to move Deanna though. So in your view, you don't think there's any reason to kill anyone, correct? And basically Boomer's like, yeah. It's like, well, we made all the decision, all of us, for your new and glorious chapter in Cylon human relations. And she's like, she tried to mirror to you, consider it God's justice. And so Callie sort of watched this from a distance. Rosalind is then brought into the van, and then we also see Zarek as well is brought into the van.
About time.
Mm-hmm. And she says, he's only been gone like an episode, you know what I mean? Like, it's not that long.
Yeah, but we've been covering a lot of time jumps with no indication of where he was, and we get a single line explanation, which is just he's been detained since the instant he refused to help Baltar with when he refused to toe the line, which was an answer to my question of like, was he going along with this? No, and they threw him in jail immediately.
Again, makes me like Zarek more. I'm just saying, still on Team Zarek so far. He's like, I'm not going to be complicit in the government. Fuck that.
I know. It's like the dude actually has fucking principles.
Mm-hmm. And I do like the line where, he says, I told Baltar I wouldn't collaborate. And Rosalind's like, he's a little pissed at me too, like pointing at her being arrested as well. And they seem to share a good chuckle at that.
We're gonna die.
Yeah, we're besties now. Anyways, let's see. Tumor lands in the canyon with a bunch of people. This is where I noted, oh, here's where they spoil her name in the subtitles. But you didn't get that.
Nope.
So I won't say it. Gata watches the cars go by, so we have that little bit. We have Starbuck. This is the scene you were talking about earlier, where Starbuck is praying over Casey, who is like kind of bandaged up, and clearly, like, it seems like she's going to be okay, but she definitely was hurt. And the opens like, it was an accident. It's not, it's not your fault. And Starbuck holds the Open's hand instinctively because good old maternal instinct.
Maternal instinct. Fuck off.
Mm-hmm.
God damn it, man.
Yep. Well, the group of prisoners, which includes Zarek and Roslyn and Callie, are taken to a sort of gully. Jammer is told by Cavill to let them stretch their legs for a 5-minute break. And Zarek and Laura, as they're getting out to talk to each other, Zarek says, "Tell me something. You tried to steal the election last year." And she says, "Yes, I did, Tom." And he's like, "I wish you'd gone through with it." Me too. So I did like that moment of humor. So.
It was a nice moment. It's kind of the only acknowledgement I'm expecting of these characters that, like, yeah, subverting democracy in that one specific case would have actually been the proper thing. I don't expect a full examination of that, but it's an acknowledgement, so I'll take it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what you wanted, yeah. To a degree. But the meeting with Athena is then interrupted by gunshots from the Centurions because we have Athena meeting up with Anders and everything, but they, one of the group gets shot. No one that we give a shit about, a red shirt essentially, and the rest kind of run away into the woods.
Hey, it's Vera from the edit again. Hey, did you catch what Jessie just did? After all this deal she made of not saying what Toomer's actual name is going to be, she just casually drops it twice. And she did it so casually, not only did she not notice, I didn't notice it either. Oh my gosh, that's too funny. Ah! Wish I'd caught it. Should I have given her clicks for that? Maybe. Maybe not. I'll probably taunt her with it in 2 weeks. So that's in 2 episodes for you folks.
Meanwhile, at the same time, Jammer grabs Callie specifically and cuts her free and says, "Run and don't look back." Notably,
with his mask on the whole time.
Yeah, mask on, so she theoretically does not know who it is.
I mean, he was a pilot. She was ground crew. She's heard him a lot.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if that will come up. Anyways, we then have silent Centurions coming over the ridge as Callie is running away. They are about to fire at Zarek, Roslyn, and the rest of the prisoners, but we cut to black as we hear gunfire as Callie runs.
I wonder what happened. I can't believe they killed multiple major characters like that. Oh my goodness, how bold and daring.
Uh-huh. Yep. Well, that is the cliffhanger that we are on. Anything to say about that before I do spoiler minute?
Nah.
Alrighty then. It is spoiler minutes. I'm going to put 60 seconds on the clock to talk about spoilers. So if you do not want spoilers for the show, just as Vera does not, you can skip that 60 seconds as Vera's going to do in real time by putting that minute on the clock for me.
And go.
So first thing should say is the bit about Ellen. This is all leading to Ellen getting killed by Ty. I'm curious to see how that's going to play out. I remember not liking it. I know some people out there are like, it's a tragedy. And yes, she did collaborate with Cavill, but again, this whole complicity with Cavill is fucked as a storyline. So obviously I don't really expect Vera to love the Ty killing Ellen, even in this sort of Shakespearean tragedy kind of way. So there is that. The other thing, obviously, is the chief does not know who Gata is the informant, which will be a storyline later on as we sort of get the sort of like people trying to get revenge on all these silent collaborators in a few episodes from now, back when everyone escapes New Caprica. Jammer obviously getting killed, and then Gata about to be killed, but then Chief sort of realizing at the last minute saving Gata's life. So that is a big important thing. It is weird to me that Chief doesn't put the two together, considering he does see Gata here. So that is one thing that is worth noting. That is a little weird. All righty then. That is everything. What do you think of the episode?
Like I appreciate that they're still sticking to the big swing that they took to kick off the season. There's a handful of interesting things in here. They make at least some decent points with Ty, even while undermining some other ones. the beats between Rosalind and Zarek, I appreciate. I hate the Starbucks shit. I hate the Ellen shit. The seeing the Cylons debate is interesting. I would honestly kind of like an episode where like the Cylons debating what to do next is like half the episode, because I feel like I come in to see the decision being made after a far more interesting conversation I didn't get to see happened.
Well, I agree with all of that. Yeah, I won't say too much about Cylon. All I'll say is we'll start to see even more from the Cylon's perspective as the show goes on. So this is the season for that. I am a bit more positive on you, but I don't think there's anything I have much opinion-wise different. Just in terms of how much I weight certain stuff. Like, yeah, I hate the Ellen stuff and the Starbucks stuff, but I kind of like came to terms with that a while ago.
Yeah.
So it doesn't bother me as
you've
much.
had 20 years to get over this. I'm dealing with it for the first time.
Yeah, you're dealing with it fresh. This, to me, the Starbucks, like, this is like, again, I've made this reference last time, but this is like collectively, like, I have a joke with my friend about like this just being the creeper part, and you just get through the creeper part. It's bad as it gets. I will say this is about as bad as it's gonna get with this storyline for that part, at least of it. The Ellen stuff will have somewhere to go. We'll see how you. I'll be curious to see where your feelings are on the Ellen thing. I have a feeling I think you're not gonna like it, but there are actually some people that do like where it goes, so we'll see how that goes. We'll see. I have bets. I said in the spoiler minute what my bet is where you're actually going to be, but I could be wrong. But I will say, like the other stuff that I do really like about this episode, I do really like. It is, as you said, there is a lot of it just like bringing up the interesting idea and not delving into it. But I do think there is some really interesting stuff here with Jammer. And the police complicity and its reflections of not only Afghanistan, but obviously the same stuff that's happening today, incidentally. But again, it just draws, I think it in a way makes it more powerful of like, look, the shit that's happening in the United States today is just fascism, is colonialism turned inwards. So I think that actually kind of makes it a really powerful statement in that sense. So I like that stuff. The like discussion of suicide bombing. Again, I agree with you. Some of the stuff with Ty makes it a little less interesting, but there is, as the devil's advocate argument I made, it's like I do think they're trying to make it even more morally darker so that you could have like implicate stuff. So I don't know. There's a part of me that really likes it, and then like the Baltar stuff I thought was really great. I really liked it for again like what I really like, and we'll see this as it develops without spoiling too much. I really like the way that Baltar continually like has to self-justify himself as a good person in the face of like his place in this machine, which I think is just a very fascinating topic that will certainly become more and more complicated as the show goes on. Like Baltar, I think there's an arc that I don't love with him, but for like there's some really interesting stuff about to come up with him that I really do enjoy. So, and it starts from all of this. So yeah, I genuinely, like I said, I don't disagree with any of your criticisms. I will weight this one a little bit stronger than you do, but I don't think it necessarily. I just think like the lows don't bother me as much because I'm inoculated to it a little bit, and the highs I think are nice. So,
I mean, like that is the thing that happens when you rewatch something that you've seen before and you know what your problems are with it.
Like, yeah, it's all right, yeah.
I've had this when I've rewatched Doctor Who episodes that I don't like. I'm like, I already know I don't like it. Like that's a fact. I am aware of that. Let's set that aside and have it bother me as little as possible, because that I can't change that.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm doing with the Starbucks stuff, because it is just one of those like, yeah, don't like this, whatever, it's a thing. I'll get through the scenes, we'll deal with it, and then I'll be like, okay, this stuff I really like. This is interesting. So I think that's just kind of how I reconcile it. So yeah, I think I would put this up as a pretty solid episode. Not like world changing, but I do really appreciate for what it's trying to do. Its treatment of women, not great. Yay, sci-fi in the early 2000s. But the ideas of what it's trying to do politically, I think, are very fascinating and very commendable, I think, for the time especially, but even to this day it still kind of resonates. So anything else, Vera?
Nah.
All right, stuff time.
Stuff. You can find my stuff by looking for Council of Geeks because the channel is not dead. The project has not ended.
Not unless I have a say on it. I'm gonna come out with accusations right after this.
Come at me, gender.
Don't you gender me.
But Patreon is what pays the bills. The main thing that funds is the Council of Geeks YouTube channel, new videos every Saturday. And in addition to that, there is the Break Room of Geeks, where I talk about whatever I have watched, listened to, read, or played lately. You can also find Council of Geeks on Blue Sky, where I bitch about things like Google AI fucking up my life a little bit. Not really, like, it wasn't that directly damaging, but it's still a messed up thing.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it for the geeky stuff that I feel like throwing out there right now. There is, of course, also the spicy stuff.
Enough of the geeky stuff that I'm throwing out there right now, but there is also the spicy stuff.
And you can look for Vera Wild. Wild spelled WYLDE. You can find increasingly spicy content.
Increasingly spicy.
On YouTube.
That's spelled YOU2.
TikTok.
Yay, I would fail at a spelling bee. Anyways, you can find me at Jesse Gender on YouTube, where I do video essay style of stuff. As of this, I'm not entirely sure which one's going to be up first. It kind of depends on when the editing gets done. My editor's currently working on it, but I have a video on Ezra Klein and the existential crisis of American liberalism. I want that one to come out first before this next one, which will be about tech bros and why they love Star Trek, that I've been teasing for a while, because the Ezra Klein one's a little bit more topical, but we'll see how long it takes my editor to get through. But one of those two will almost certainly be out by the time you listen to this, so check that out, and the other one will be out not too shortly thereafter. I also have a secondary channel called Jesse Gender After Dark, where I do news, reviews, reactions. I'm not sure what I'm going to be discussing right now. I'm going to be watching Welcome to Derry right after this recording, so I'll see if it's worth me wanting to talk about it. So I might be reviewing that at that time. I am also on Patreon. That helps me pay my bills. If you want to support me being able to feed my cats and myself and my partner, you can help me over there. I'm also on Nebula, a streaming service that houses my movies' identities, as well as the show Subliminal. I'll be having my episode come out sometime next year. I'm on Blue Sky and Instagram. That's all of my stuff. Anything else, Vera?
Nah.
Alrighty, with all that said, I hope y'all live long and prosper.
Be seeing you.